Good morning, this is Kris Shoemaker, also known as Yehudah ben Shomeyr, and you're listening to Coffee with Kris, the time of the day where we share a cup of coffee and share a bit of the Word of God. All right, it's a new week, therefore it's a new Torah portion. We are in the Torah portion called Balak, and it's taken from Numbers chapter 22, verse 2, all the way to chapter 25, verse 9. But this morning, today, Sunday, we're going to be in chapter 22, verses 2 through 4, which read like this. When Balak, son of Zippor, realized that all Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, had done to the Amorites, Moab became terrified because there were so many people. Moab was filled with dread because of Bnei Israel, because of the children of Israel. Moab said to the elders of Midian, "The multitude will lick up everything around us like the ox licks up the grass of the field." So, 40 years prior to this, when Israel was sending out the 12 spies to the land, the spies, at least 10 of them said, "We looked like grasshoppers in their sight. We felt like grasshoppers, and we looked like grasshoppers in their sight," despite the children of Israel being just as numerous as they were 40 years later, except it's a new generation, right? But you think about safety in numbers. You think about the overwhelming horde of simply having numbers. Who cares if there's giants? If there's more of you than them, you can conquer them. Just like ants can conquer a wounded mouse. They just swarm the wounded mouse and eat the wounded mouse up alive because the mouse can't get all of the ants. The mouse can't get away. It's sick, it's wounded, it's just being eaten alive by these ants. So you have the number that can overwhelm the size. So when Israel sent the spies out to the land 40 years prior, they were numerous, yet they saw themselves as grasshoppers and believed the inhabitants saw them that way too. Now, 40 years later, here we see the inhabitants of Moab. They see the children of Israel as countless oxen. Countless oxen. They're going to lick up all the grass that's around us. They're going to strip this place bare, almost like locust would. But they didn't call them locusts because Moab didn't see them as small. Moab seen them as giants. Moab seen them as large. So how did the children of Israel see themselves? It's interesting that the text does not say. But my point is this morning, when we are in the Lord's will, and we have the favor of the Lord, the enemy will fear us. We will look like fearsome giants in the eyes of the enemy. The enemy will fear us, we will be protected, and we will get the victory. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Go out there and have a great day, have a great week. Shalom and Shavua Tov.